This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, I'm doing well. I've been taking vitamins and I'm full of energy.
Wow, the vitamins are actually giving you energy?
I think so. It might be all in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Any like non-prescription drug I've ever taken, I've never been sure if it's actually doing anything or not.
But who cares?
Well, I care because you got to spend money on them.
No, but if like for me, I've been upping my vitamin regimen this week, and I feel like I have more energy because of it.
Right.
Who cares if it's all in my head? I have felt noticeable effects.
Well, I just think eventually.
So if it's the placebo effect, hey, pump these placebos right into my veins, baby.
Well, don't do that's dangerous to put sugar water in your veins. I've told you that many times. You think it's a way to get a lot of energy very quickly, but it's very dangerous, especially.
What about salt water? Will that allow me to breathe underwater?
Don't do the salt water either, Tim. And I've seen the water that you want to use, and a lot of times the salt or sugar isn't even dissolved.
Yeah,
There's big granules.
I plan on stirring it around a little bit more before I actually inject it.
It's not slow release like that if you got the big chunks in there.
We'll see. I intend to prove you wrong, Tom. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, Tim. I watched a documentary that everybody's talking about this week, the Britney Spears thing on Hulu.
Did you use my Hulu login to watch that?
Yeah, of course I did.
I'm not sure I like this setup.
What do you mean you're not sure you like it? You gave me your Hulu login.
I know,
in exchange for my mom's HBO login.
True.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I've got my own profile on there. It's fine. They aren't screwing up your views.
I don't know why. I feel like when we're talking about
Jesus Christ. Oh, the cops are going to come. The
Hulu
Hulu police are going to arrest me.
I dare the Hulu police to come and try to take me alive. No. The stream police.
Tim, they come in, they put about 100 hula hoops on you. Like the people that would break the hula hoop records, but you can't do that.
How now you're making assumptions, Tom.
Well, boy. I can't wait to see what happens when they come in and they put those hula hoops on you, Tim, because you're not even going to be able to get them off the ground.
When I'm giving out my Hulu password to the likes of you, I'm like, man, I'm such a good friend. This is nice. What a great man I am. And then when I hear that you actually use it, my blood starts to boil.
Why?
I don't know, Tom.
Jesus
I don't know
Christ.
What's wrong with me?
I've got my own profile on there. It says Tom, and it's not screwing up your views at all. It's never stopped you from using the account.
I know.
You use my accounts. I've given you that account. I've given you other accounts throughout the years.
No, you've given me your mother's account.
Yeah, which is mine. It's the family account.
I work that out with her. That's not your generosity. That's her generosity.
Tim, that password will get you into all kinds of channels, too.
I know. I use it
you
for
son of a
everything.
bitch. Yeah, exactly. And you get so mad that I use your like $12 a month Hulu password.
Yeah, because you're not spending any money out of pocket, Tom. I'm going out of pocket and you're leeching off of me.
I'm not. Tim, I'm going to change my mom's password. And then we'll see who's.
That will screw up everything your mom's doing. Like, you don't. I know that is the failsafe.
I don't think it will, because I don't think my mom knows how to like use anything, like any streaming stuff. Well, she knows how to use Netflix, but that took a while.
All right, so you watched a Britney Spears documentary.
Yes.
On my dime.
On your dime.
Thanks to the generosity of your good friend Tim, you watched the Britney Spears.
I'll send you.
I feel like I'm under a conservatorship.
Like a $2.99 check for it or something for the
Venmo.
rental.
You don't have to send a check.
No, I insist on sending a check.
I'll cash that check.
That check's going to bounce and we'll both be screwed.
You don't have any checks.
I think I do still. Yeah, I think I got a checkbook somewhat recently because I had been using the same checkbook for like a decade for just, paying rent or whatever. And then one day I ran out of checks and I was like, what? I don't even know where I got these. How do I get more?
Yeah, I have a checkbook that I can presumably use if I need to, but it has an address of an apartment I lived in 6 apartments ago.
Oh, yeah. I mean, mine too. That doesn't matter.
No, but it's been that long.
Yeah.
How many checks are in a book? 50?
I think so.
Yeah, so since 2007, I've used probably 8 checks.
Wow. And none of them have gone.
I'm all digital.
And none have gone to me. Anyway, I watched this documentary. It's a good documentary. It's very interesting about Britney Spears, a woman who's the same age as us, but somehow
how can that be, Tom? We're not the same age. You and I.
She's around our age.
Okay.
But she's under a conservatorship. Her dad's still in charge of everything. Mm-hmm. Very strange case.
Yeah.
But it was good. And I like that they pointed out that Justin Timberlake's kind of a scumbag, because I've always felt that about Justin Timberlake, but never been able to put my finger on it.
Is this new information that people think that Justin Timberlake is a scumbag, though?
I've never heard it, not in a public forum like this.
Man, you just hang around fawning NSYNC fans. Huh?
Yeah, it's like everybody I know is like, oh, he's the best. I love him so much. He's so cute. Did you see, his latest music video? I'm
Can
like,
you
I don't even really like the guy.
Janet Jackson tried to sabotage his career.
Yeah. There was like there's a clip in the movie, in the documentary, of him on a radio show where the guy's like, hey, Justin, you got to tell us, did you F Britney Spears? And he's like, yeah, all right, I did it. I got to say it. I did it. And I'm just imagining like being on a radio show where some ugly scumbag sitting across from me.
Probably 43-year-old. And Justin Timberlake was what, 20 at the time?
Yeah. And yeah, probably like, gross, greasy. We hate radio people, right, Tim? Because we're podcasters.
Radio's the past, man. We're the future.
Yeah. And yeah, just some like
young, hip podcasters like us.
Just some
and TikTok. We're also find us on TikTok as well.
We don't have a TikTok, Tim. I refuse to give China that kind of information about us.
Find us on Discord, baby. We're gamers now.
Just some ugly slob asking you about having sex with your ex-girlfriend. I'd be like, what? All right. This is gross. I'm leaving. Not like, yeah, I did it.
But I also, what was he, like 20? Not to defend.
Yeah.
Justin
Oh, yeah.
Timberlake.
I mean, yeah. It was after they broke up.
But like, I don't know. I was dumb at 20, and if someone was goading you into saying stuff,
yeah,
it's all bad. The whole system's bad, and all these
right.
people are
well,
shoved
that's what
into
this documentary kind of shows.
Yeah.
It's wild, how quickly things have changed for the better. But because you're watching these clips from like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where it's like, oh, yeah, no, it's appropriate for a network television news show interviewer to ask this teenage girl if she's a virgin or not on national TV.
Yeah. And like, in what world is that newsworthy?
Right.
And also, like, it's part of me was like, well, if she was a world leader or something, you could ask her that.
Well,
but
no.
Also, like, because, like, the way that I was thinking, it's like, especially not, like, why is the pop star on the news at all?
Well, I know during every
but we shouldn't ask any world leader whether or not they're a virgin. We don't want to embarrass anybody.
Tim, I know for a fact during the last, I don't know how many.
Boris Johnson, we won't ask.
I don't know how many, town halls that they have during presidential elections. You always submit the question, are you a virgin? You do it for both parties, which is fair. But I don't think they're ever going to ask anybody that. And I think most of these people, usually they're happily married, often with children. So I think it's pretty obvious that they're not virgins.
Sometimes my question is phrased, "Are you a virgin?" Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
Well, of course, that's funny when you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Any other insights on Britney Gate, Tom?
She seems nice. I'd like to be friends with her.
You know what? I found that too. I watched that as well, and I was just like, I think if I sat down and had a cup of coffee with Britney Spears, we'd have a lot of stuff to talk about. I think we'd have not common ground in experiences,
right? Of course not. You wouldn't be able to talk about times you were at the VMAs.
No. I mean, I almost went to the VMAs one time.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd be very interested in hearing about the one time you almost went.
Well, the thing was they did a call for people who were willing to shave their head and bleach their hair for that Eminem performance of Real Slim Shady. And like, I saw that, like the call went out. I think it went out. I think I was in college. It might have been freshman year when I was in college, and I was in New York. I think it might have been blasted out to like even like our college listserv. Like, hey, you'll get to go to the VMAs and be a part of.
Right.
So
we have an important educational opportunity for everybody attending our school.
I mean, that's like one of the few things I remember from college.
Right. You didn't even do it.
College provides a lot of opportunities. Higher education. Yeah, you can, if you want, you can go to the VMAs, not just as a guest, as a performer.
Yeah, that's true. You would be performing. How much would you get paid?
Brittany would enjoy that story.
She might like that story. She just seems nice. She seems funnier than she's given credit for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of got the raw deal. Kind of got a lot of bad stuff happened to her.
Yeah, it stinks, and like it was all
and
presented
put in a lot
to her
of situations where she couldn't win. There was just no.
Yeah, and like you are only like aware of the reality that's presented to you. So like her handlers were putting her in all these situations where it's like,
right.
You're going to be a teenager and some interviewer is going to ask you about your boobs, but this is a thing, like this is what we're doing and this is right. It's fine. So just go with it. And like,
but also don't you dare say anything like real about your boobs. Don't talk about them in any way. Like they're going to ask you about your boobs and you better have an answer that's incredibly innocent back to this completely inappropriate question.
Otherwise people are going to friggin' tear you apart. They'll tear you apart either way, actually.
Right. Yeah. What was that one? It was like the governor's wife who said she wanted to put a bullet in her head.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus. And like Brittany's reaction was basically like, Jesus Christ, lady. Why'd you say something like that?
Yeah, she was just like, wait, what? Why would you? Why?
Why? That's not nice. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Why are you wishing that on me? I didn't do anything to you.
I'm hopeful that there's somebody that it can be me, but it doesn't need to be me. I just hope she has the opportunity to, whenever she feels like it, sit down for a cup of coffee with somebody and have a normal conversation about whatever she wants to talk about.
Yeah, well,
without feeling judged.
She had that weird guy, that like mooch that was around her that they had to get a restraining order.
There's mooch every
well, but that's what I'm watching. All
the ones who got
these
the restraining orders are all mooches too. Everybody who's ever been around her is a dang mooch.
Yeah. I wouldn't be a mooch. I would swear an oath that I wouldn't mooch off her. If she wanted to give me gifts or something, I wouldn't say no. That'd be rude. But I wouldn't ask for them. I just want to be her friend. That's all. Let it be on the record. I'm a nice guy. Tim, this week we're talking about maybe something some people don't even remember anymore, and that's bars, pubs for our friends overseas.
Watering holes
For
elephants.
our Western friends. Saloons for our Western friends.
Yeah. Hey, and this goes without saying, but adults only, please. No kids in the bar.
Unless it's like a kids bar or something like that.
Unless it's an all ages ska show on like a Sunday afternoon from like 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Then it's fine.
Yeah.
I always hated as a kid, like, actually, no. I was going to say I hated getting like Shirley Temples.
Mm-hmm.
But they were actually, they were pretty good. But I was always of the mind of like, oh, I can just have a Coca-Cola. That's fine by me.
Yeah, but there was something novel about,
because they had to make a Shirley Temple.
Yeah, it didn't just come out of the gun,
right?
The prefab.
I'll tell you what, though.
With the cherry, that's nice. But sometimes you got a cherry in a Coca-Cola too, depending on the establishment.
It's very true. You could ask for a cherry in your Coca-Cola. I would. Now, would you rather the bartender make you a Shirley Temple, or you can only have a Coke, but you get to use the gun?
Oh, if I get to use the gun, that's super serious. If it was freaking, plain water or a Shirley Temple.
Right.
Take a glass of water. If it was something I don't even like, what's a beverage I don't like? I like all beverages. I don't think there's a beverage I don't like.
What about tonic water? You like tonic water?
No, but I don't think it's like...
What's in that? Quinine? Chlorine?
Yeah.
Strychnine?
Yeah. Strychnine. But like, I think I don't like it. I can't place what it, but I bet if I had a glass of it, it wouldn't be that bad. I wouldn't be like, ugh, I can't drink this.
Yeah, I think the problem with it is you expect it to taste like seltzer and it doesn't.
Yeah. But, there are drinks.
Which was always my problem with seltzer, was I expected it to taste like Sprite and it didn't.
Seltzer used to gross me out for that very reason.
Yeah.
But then I grew up a little bit, Tom.
Same here. Now I drink seltzer all the time.
Couple of heroes. I'd like to get a seltzer with Britney Spears now that we're all mature.
Right. Yeah, we don't need to have a drink. We can just have seltzers. It's fine.
Yeah, we don't need the caffeine in a coffee.
Tim, I've found that I've been missing bars a lot. It has been almost a year since I have, I've been to, I've had drinks outdoors at bars, I think twice.
Really?
Yeah. But like, even in those cases, I don't know, it definitely was not the same, because like at least
I want to thank you, Tom,
mm-hmm.
for extending the life of this pandemic. So responsible people like me who are not getting drinks at bars have to continue to stay indoors.
Tim, I took the drinks and I poured them out. I was only there to support local businesses. I know you hate local businesses. You want just one big business that everything goes through.
The only bar I go to is the Hard Rock Cafe. Any kind of chain.
It was about a year ago right now, Tim, that I went to that haunted Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
So might have trouble sleeping tonight now.
What is the last bar that you went to? Do you remember? Do you recall?
Like indoor bar?
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have been when I was in Key West, Florida. It would have been at a bar there. So I went on vacation right before this happened. Like was on vacation during the week where on the way out there were one or two people on the plane wearing masks. It was like, look at these maniacs. And then on the way back, I was trying to hold my breath to not. And
for the entire 4-hour flight.
Yeah, and desperately trying to find a place to buy a mask. So that's the week that I was away. How quickly things changed.
You know what we should have done, Tom? Because we
gone into the mask business.
Yeah, I don't feel like we needed to profit off of this horrible situation. But hey, wherever your mind goes, Tom, that's your problem.
I was gonna say go into the mask business and give them out for free. Tim, you keep assuming the worst of me here, but time and time again, I show you that I'm in fact a nice guy.
We in the before times we recorded this in person.
Yeah,
and oftentimes we'd record at your apartment, and then less and less. Like we would record sometimes at the HeadGum studio, and every time we did that, we would go to a bar afterwards.
Yes,
and it'd be the only time. And
I think maybe once we didn't.
Yeah,
and I think it was probably because both of us were unbelievably hungover already.
And it was the one time that Marika actually wanted to go and didn't come along, like, reluctantly. And she's like, "Oh, you guys are just gonna go? Huh? Okay." But oftentimes, less and less when we recorded at your apartment, we would go to a bar and get a drink or a few
afterwards.
Drinks after we recorded. And you got back from Key West.
Yeah.
We recorded a part 2 of our episode about Key West. I gave a speech about how the flu isn't going to take me down. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
An ill-advised speech, like in jest about like, this thing. I got into a cab.
Yeah, well, you were big for a while that it was no different than the common flu.
You know what? I was hopeful. But I was also, ironically saying that because it was all a big joke. You often
say things or lie in a way that I can tell it's not true, but you're like trying to make it true. You're trying to manifest it in reality.
Yeah.
Where you'll be like, I'm not scared. And it's like, oh, he is scared, but he wishes he weren't.
Well, what was that, a Wednesday? So that was March 12th of last year. So and I immediately got in a cab after being like, trying to talk myself into how not scary this situation was. And that was Tom Hanks, and then the NBA season was canceled. Yeah. And my biggest regret is that, like, I saw that within 10 seconds of getting in the cab. My biggest regret is that I didn't stop the cab, buzz your buzzer, and be like, hey, we need to go to the bar right now because this is going to be like our last chance.
Yeah. Yeah, but we were probably also very terrified, right?
Scared shitless, yes.
Yeah. And also thinking like, God, I don't know. Do you think this is going to last 2 weeks like they say? I hope it is. It's not that long before I can go to a bar again.
Wow.
So I've been to outdoor bars, but I never actually, I don't think I ever really went when it was nice outside because there were like too many people. But I went twice outdoors when it was really cold and got like one drink and was just like, it's freezing outside. I'm incredibly nervous being here. Like I like going to a bar to relax, and I'm not relaxed here because all I'm seeing are people doing dangerous things right now.
Yeah, the one time actually this past weekend, Tom, we attempted to go. My wife and I met up with a friend, and we attempted to find a bar that we would be comfortable drinking outside, but everything was too crowded.
Yeah.
But this is a cool thing about New York right now. We got to be teens. It was like at night. It was like 8:30 or 9. We went to a bodega. We got beers, and then we went to the park and just sat at a picnic table and drank beers in a park. It was almost as good as being at a bar, Tom. We should do this, and nobody hassled us.
Yeah, well, that's the one good thing right now is that it seems like people aren't really getting hassled for drinking outside.
Open container laws, if come on, no,
yeah,
look,
they're
even
so
if you get
stupid.
a ticket, if that doesn't get dismissed, then we got bigger problems in society.
Well, how much is like a open container?
I don't know.
ticket?
I'm just thinking I'm willing to take the $200 hit or whatever.
$200? I wouldn't be willing to take a $200 hit. I was thinking like $50. I'd take a $50
I mean,
hit.
what's your normal night out at a bar tab?
Not $200.
Because you buy a 6-pack, you can get that for what, $12 at a bodega, right?
Right.
And then in a bar, what would 6 beers cost you?
Not
like,
$200.
$70.
No.
When are you going to drink 6 beers?
$70. $10 a beer, $11 a beer.
12.
That's what you're $12 a beer.
Fancy beer, Tom.
Well,
I haven't been in a bar in a long time. I forget what the prices are.
Look, Tim, if you're at a bar that's
also you don't tip, so you're not. Yeah, I'm figuring $1 or $2 tip for each beer.
If you're drinking at a bar where drinks are $12 a piece, I can guarantee it's got better ambiance than a park bench.
It's a picnic table, Tom. You're putting words in my mouth. It wasn't a park bench. I mean, yes, a bench is part of a picnic table.
Yeah, and it was in the park.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, sitting outside in January or February drinking
it's goddamn
beer.
freezing. It was the worst.
Yeah, especially having like a nice cold drink. I did during Christmas time. I think I talked about it on the show. Went out, outside the whole time, but like visiting Rockefeller Center and stuff. And that had some whiskey and an apple cider. And that was great because the apple cider was nice and warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but if you're outside in the cold and you drink a cold drink, it actually regulates your body temperature.
You son of a bitch!
Warmer.
You know that's not true.
Yeah, what's the matter, Tom? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm getting wistful about bars, Tim. I miss going to bars.
I do too, and to be honest,
bars
in the last
bars
few
were the
years,
only thing I took advantage of in New York City anymore.
That's true. I mean, but I didn't go to bars that much. Like in our 20s, Tom,
mm-hmm.
you and I would be in bars with all of our friends
every night,
every single night of the week,
more or less.
I don't know how I had enough money to afford food. Oh, we went to a bar that didn't charge us for drinks.
Yeah, we had we had the Dream, which is a neighborhood bar where everybody knows your name. Not with other customers, though. We never talked with any of the other customers, really. Just the staff.
Yeah.
And
also because we had a big enough friend group in the neighborhood.
Right. We didn't need more.
We didn't need more. Like it wasn't always. It wasn't just me and you sitting at the bar, doing this
right
every night. There was.
We had a lot of friends who lived in the neighborhood and would stop in.
And it was better that we made friends with the bar rather than the patrons, because the people who ran the bar were just like, you guys don't have to pay us for these drinks.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we had the Dream there for a long time of what you want in a bar, which is that the staff knows you and you know the staff and you like each other, you're friends, and that they don't charge you, or they charge you very little for your drinks, and you don't have to wait an insane amount of time for your drinks, even when it's crowded, because they see you waiting and they're like, oh, I see Tom like 3 rows back there. I know his name and I know what he's drinking. So I'm just going to pour that while I'm doing something else and pass it over everybody else's head. Great. Yeah, you feel like a king when that happens.
Tom, I think going to matchless most nights of the week, not really paying for drinks, and just like always knowing that like one of our dozen plus friends in the neighborhood would be there to hang out at any time that you went there, was maybe the best period of my life, which is a sad thing to say. No, I think I mean not the current period, but once all this gets it's nice to not drink every night and to be in a loving marriage. And, let me watch what I say here. Tom, but back to bars.
Yeah. Oh, I wish. I wish I was going back to bars.
I do want to say, we were talking about how we went to Matchless all the time, and that was such a magical time, right? Going to a bar, all that, just hanging out, friends, free drinks. I walked by the corner that Matchless was on, the bar that we used to go to, our home base, and Matchless no longer exists. It was bought up by a developer, so it's all just
let it rot.
Yeah, it's all just boarded up. I think they're still working on like kicking out the rest of the tenants of the building or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you could show 2000 Tim a picture of me walking by Matchless in 2021 wearing a mask past a boarded up and graffitied Matchless, I'd just be like, the future is gonna suck shit.
And you'd be right.
Yeah, here we are. And it's like, hey, guess what, 2007 Tim? Not only can you not go in Matchless because it's bought up by some shitty developer, you can't go in any bar. Right. And that mask isn't some ironic thing that you picked up off the street and put on your face like you would do if you saw a face mask in 2007 because you're an idiot. You'd be like, let me walk around with this on as a
I'm
joke.
a doctor.
Yeah. No, that's actually required. Or if not required, you're a dick if you don't wear one.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about a bar that we both like so much, let me ask you this, Tim. What makes a bar a good bar to you?
Tom? Mm-hmm. I was going to ask a similar question about dive bars, because I think, look,
yeah,
I don't want a bar where I got to do anything, really.
Wear a tie and a jacket.
No, I want to feel at home. I want to feel at ease.
Right.
However,
I've never liked going to fancy bars.
I don't like clubs. We're not talking about clubs today,
no.
Tom. Because a club is not a bar. A club has a bar.
Sometimes, yes.
Well,
Often.
it has a bar.
Yeah, I guess always, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it has a physical place where you can go up and order a drink.
Yes.
And I don't like, look, typically I would have said I enjoy going to dive bars.
Uh-huh.
But I think dive bars also implies some level of filth that I don't think I'm actually comfortable with.
Well, I was going to say that, I mean, especially in Brooklyn, you know, the dive bar aesthetic became such a thing where it's tough when you say dive bar. Sometimes it's like, oh, a bar that they've made everything distressed and old looking on purpose, or a real dive bar where it's like, oh, you're going to be eyed the whole time you're in here. You're going to be very uncomfortable. The glasses aren't going to, they're going to have lipstick on them. They aren't going to be clean.
Yeah, no, that's not the thing. Here's what I want in a bar, Tom.
Mm.
I want there to be, it doesn't necessarily need to be my favorite music playing.
Yeah.
But it needs to be music that doesn't actively confuse me or scare me. And it needs to be at a reasonable volume. I don't like a big loud bar.
Yeah.
I think there should be people in it, but it shouldn't be crowded.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be the only group in there.
Right.
It's weird. Unless it's like a Sunday afternoon day drinking excursion, and it's like you're outside of normal fun drinking hours, right?
Yeah, sometimes you walk into a place like, you know, Friday night at 9 p.m. You walk into a bar and it's completely empty, and you're like, something's wrong. Something happened here. I don't feel comfortable now because it shouldn't be this empty.
Others knew to stay away. What do they know that I don't know?
Right. I agree completely, though, that I like a busy bar, but not a crowded bar.
Yeah. I want everything middle of the road, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't want them playing oldies, but I don't want them playing new music.
Right, because that scares and confuses you.
Exactly. I don't want it too loud, but I don't want it quiet.
Right.
I don't want it crowded where like I can't find a seat. You know what I don't miss, Tom? What
What's
I completely forgot about until I started thinking about it now. The anxiety of walking into a bar with a group of people and hoping that there's a big enough space, like a table.
Yeah, that there's
for
like
you
room
guys.
for all of you.
Yeah, and if there's not, it's just like, well, we have to go somewhere else because it's just it's science, Tom. It's physics.
Yeah, I hate sometimes when like you're with a group and like you have a decent spot and then somebody's like, hey, let's go somewhere else. It's like, it's not going to get better than this, guys. No, we can't all do that.
And I feel like that came up a lot more in our 20s when it's like, yeah, but, we can't just stay here until 4 a.m. Like, we're going to be out till 4 a.m., so, like, we need to mix it up. But, like, now it's just like, I don't know, I'm going home at 11:15, so, like, I got another 40 minutes in me, man.
Whenever I walk through those doors, I'm going home. That's where I'm going, so... Yeah, I guess the days of going to multiple locations are over. I was going to say that I do sometimes like a quiet bar. There's a nice bar near me that I used to love going to after like dinner or something, or if there were like just a few people, because it was always like a very quiet kind of chill bar with a lot of places to sit. Unfortunately, no places to stand, which is good when it's not crowded. Bad when it is crowded, because then people are just standing where you're sitting.
Right.
But I did always enjoy that too, as like a nice little nightcap, because that bar is literally hundreds of feet from my home. So, and it's like on the way home. That's great. I mean, that's the case for Matchless too. That bar was on the way home from a lot of places.
I mean, that was also our only destination.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, you could get off the subway and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll walk this way. It's certainly out of my way, but I will eventually get home if I walk this way.
I mean, so it's not on your way home, and also the alternative was going home, putting down your stuff, and then going to that bar.
Yeah, which I guess normally is what I would do, because I was afraid of my stuff getting stolen, and it really wasn't that much more time.
Yeah. I like a very quiet bar for in those instances, but if I'm going to be there for a few drinks, I don't know if you notice this about me. I tend to, my voice raises. I tend to get, I'm an excitable boy.
Yes.
And
you're another way to say excitable boy is loud drunk.
Exactly. And I think it bears mentioning, Tom, that I think the two of us, in judging by our off mic conversation, the way that we were both unable to say words to each other, in honor of this bars episode, we're both drinking probably a little bit more than we normally do.
Absolutely, Tim. I miss bars. That was actually, so saying that out loud reminded me, and this was what actually was the impetus of this episode today. There was a thing on TheVerge.com about a website called IMissMyBar.com, which is basically just a way to play a bunch of noises you would hear in a bar and have that play as like white noise. The idea being, or you could be doing whatever with this, but the idea they said is like, put this on with your Zoom calls. I haven't been on a Zoom call in a long time though. Those got old quick.
Zoom by like April 10th, we were all like, all right, we're not doing this anymore, right?
Yeah. Now, what makes a bar a bad bar, in your opinion, Tim?
Jerks.
Yeah.
And it can be...
crowded, loud, jerk patrons or jerk bartenders.
And I think that was the main issue with Williamsburg / Greenpoint, which a bar was defined... the vibe was defined every night, right? Like, because you can go and it would be a wonderful place. Yeah. And then you go the next night and it's full of goddamn jerks.
Yeah. Some kickball team is there after their game, ruining everybody's night.
Yeah. Or sometimes a bar would weirdly ebb and flow, particularly in Williamsburg.
Well, I was going to say also particularly when you're there for 8 hours.
No. I just mean like... a bar would be cool for like a month or two, and then suddenly it'd be full of jerks for like 3 months. And it's like, we don't go there anymore. But then, boom, suddenly the jerks have moved on somewhere else, and you could go to that bar again. Yeah. Like, it was a weird situation, and I don't know what accounted for it. No bar ever really
stayed full of jerks for long.
No. Remember the Richardson? Like, that was cool, and then it became quote unquote cool, where like a bunch of people were there all the time,
Yeah.
and it was insufferable. But then I think it was cool again.
One time, Harry Potter was there. You remember that?
No,
Yeah,
the
Daniel Radcliffe.
Wizarding boy.
The Wizarding boy, he was there. He didn't have any of his stuff with him. You could have asked him. You could have asked him a bunch of questions about what Hogwarts is like when there isn't crazy stuff going on about the day-to-day life.
Read a book about what Hogwarts is like.
That's not how stories work.
Existential threat.
You just want like a very low stakes Harry Potter book.
Yeah, maybe the conflict is, someone's failing a class.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't hear about that kind of stuff. Like who gets, what happens when you fail at Hogwarts. Certainly some people just don't cut it, even though they've got the magic abilities or whatever. It's just like, well, you're just not, memorizing things well enough, and you're out. You got to go back to regular school, but you still can kind of do magic. Please don't do any magic while you're back at regular school.
Don't take any of these books that explain how to do things with you.
Yeah. I think the explanation... No, I don't know. I don't know that much about Harry Potter. I was going to say, I think it's like if you don't like use it, you lose it with like your wizarding powers, but...
Hey, who cares? How do you feel about bar food? How important is food to you in the bar experience? Tom, even
what?
Thinking about food in bar, like I am getting so wistful. I'm kind of getting choked up. This sucks. We need to leave our homes and do things. I want to go into places.
Bar food. Look, there's no better food. That's the best food there is.
I agree.
Because the bar food, first off, drinking really sharpens your appetite, makes your appetite better. Just really like increases your body's natural like caveman instincts for like salt and fat.
Mm-hmm. And they also have limited kitchen space.
Yes.
So it's just like, what can we put in a deep fryer? What can we put on this very small grill?
Yeah. So things like buffalo wings, mozzarella sticks, chicken fingers, a French fries, not a French fries. I was going to say a hamburger and/or French fries, onion rings. Anything you can throw in a deep fryer. Guess what? That's the best food that you can get anyway. And they've got it.
Agreed. There's nothing better than not being hungry, going to a bar for a few hours, and then realizing or having your brain trick you into thinking you're hungry, and then being like, "Oh, they have food here, though," and then it's
I was gonna say
garbage.
That's the best surprise when you're like, "Oh God, I just realized I'm so hungry," and then you either realize because you're drunk and you forgot, or you find out that they have a kitchen and they have food. It's like, that's what I want more than anything right now. And you're telling me I just have to tell this man or woman about it and they'll go get it for me. And I don't even have to get up. I can just stay where I am. Oh, and you're going to give me another drink in the meantime while I wait. Fantastic.
So
we would be at especially like at Matchless. And like it would be like a busy Friday night. It'd be full of like really cool people being cool. And we would just be like having dinner together at the bar. It would be so crowded. People would be trying so desperately to get drinks. And we'd be there sitting there with like knives and forks having very nice dinners with each other.
Yeah. Hey, it was our local hang.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, bar food. Look, I don't always need it. Although now that I'm saying it, I think I do, because there's nothing that I hate more. Well, similar to, hey, let's go find a different place when you've got a big group. And I hate going to find a different place when I'm fine with the place I'm in. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's like, oh, this bar's like nice and chill. And somebody's like, nah, I want to go to a crazy place. I want to meet girls.
Tom, side note, You and I have you ever aspired to talk to a girl or anybody at a bar? Have you aspired to talk to anybody that you didn't enter the bar with in your whole life?
No.
Never once have I wanted to meet somebody at a bar.
Certainly when I was younger, I would, when I was single, I would maybe see somebody who I found attractive, but I never
But you never approached that person.
No, because it's like, I don't know, nobody wants that. Everybody's trying to have a good time.
Yeah, so what's the point of even wanting to see somebody attractive there?
Well, sometimes I would look at them all night. I would just keep staring at them.
Well, that's
hoping they would
ideal
notice.
For anybody.
Come over and buy me a drink. What are you doing?
My iPad's about to die. I'm trying to plug in my iPad. I was trying to do it. I was hoping that you would take 5 seconds and talk about more creepy stuff about staring at girls in bars.
Well, no, Tim. That's what made me realize, I'm like, oh, Tim wants me to keep talking about this. I'm just going to get myself into trouble.
Yeah, well, I also
look, Tim, I'm not looking to get canceled this week.
No, we'll get canceled next week on our as we expound on our Britney Spears takes.
Right. No, my Britney Spears takes are nothing but love for Britney.
Yeah, same.
I
got a raw deal.
Yeah. So but I don't think you finished explaining what you think is a bad bar, or did you? How did food come up?
I interrupted you. It's how we've been drinking during this endeavor. It's just what happened. We can go back to bad bars. Look. Price has always been a pain point at bars, right?
Yes, yeah.
What's your go-to, like, hey, I'm going out and hanging out with some friends. What are you ordering at a bar, drinks wise? And what is your I had a nice fancy dinner with my girlfriend. We're going for a nightcap. What's your order in that scenario? And any other scenarios you wanna expound?
Okay,
Why am I saying expound? I'm using that word improperly also.
Yeah. Well, it's either a beer. And as far as beer goes, I like a nice craft beer, a nice IPA or a lager or a Pilsner beer, depending on my mood.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yes.
What is a craft beer?
It's just like an independent beer, like
a non-Budweiser.
Yeah, like a mass market beer.
Nothing that we're aware comes from Anheuser-Busch or Miller, but they might be owned by those companies.
Right. Okay. I would say most bars where we are, it's craft beer because, there's so many bars here that they have to kind of compete on like, oh, this bar has always got like new weird stuff or whatever.
Right.
So one of those, or I like Guinness, but I'm not a huge fan of stouts. In general, if they have something interesting like a peanut butter stout or something, maybe I'll give it a whirl if the mood strikes me.
You like weird gimmicky things.
Exactly.
You want to give it a shot at least.
Yeah, I don't like the crazy strong IPAs, like a 11% IPA. It's like, nah, I'll just drink liquor if I want to do that. And then as far as liquor goes, usually it's just Jameson. That's or I will get like a whiskey ginger if I want something like that. I guess
that's ginger ale.
Yes.
Whiskey.
Yeah. I guess I only really drink whiskey as far as hard liquor is concerned.
That's same. Do you ever do shots in your, I'd say, adult life? Did you enjoy shots in your 20s?
I have never enjoyed shots, and I don't think in the last probably ever have I drank a shot that I've paid for. Like, I've never ordered a shot unless it's part of like a deal. If I'm ordering a beer and they're like, well, it's $4, but for $5 you get that in a shot. Sure. But
Yeah.
I've never just been like, give me a shot.
But it's always a straight shot too, right? Like I've never been like, give me one of those shots that you have to mix up in one of those.
Oh yeah,
metal
no.
things,
I mean, those I
mixers.
feel like are for college kids that you know
Yeah.
don't like the taste of liquor. So it's like put something real
Damn
sugary
it.
in
I
it.
mean, I don't like the taste of liquor.
But I like what it does.
I don't like anything.
I like
gotta,
the
you gotta do things to feel anything, I guess, right?
Well, I like I mean, that's always been my thing with any like, especially like the college culture drinking of like, like keg stands and beer pong. Like if you lose, then you've got to drink. It's like, no, I'll drink. I just don't want to drink it super fast. I enjoy drinking. I want to, trust me, I'm not even going to take my time with it really, but I just don't want to purposely try and drink it as quickly as possible.
Are people getting wise to, and I don't think anybody realizes this in the moment, but are drinking games do they just exist to rapidly lower people's inhibitions so people can be taken advantage of faster? Is that what drinking games are? And did some evil person come up with them and they've just been perpetuated by people being like, well, drinking games are what we do?
Certainly, there are plenty of people, I'm sure, that's their intention. But I do think just in general, probably the inhibitions thing of like, yeah, I'm nervous being around other people without being drunk, so I need to drink as quickly as possible. But again, I also think, especially when you're new to drinking, it's like, look, I got to be honest, this stuff all tastes like shit compared to Coca-Cola. I wish this were Coca-Cola. So let's invent fun ways to drink it as quickly as possible so we don't have to taste it. So with that being said, Tim, my drinks are beer or whiskey.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Occasionally a wine, maybe a nice wine, very rarely.
There was a period where I thought I was drinking too many beers.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it would make me gain weight that I didn't want to gain, or like just be empty calories.
Yeah.
And B, I thought it would I was just drinking too much. I was drinking constantly. So my plan was I will always just get whiskey. I'll get Jameson on the rocks.
Yeah.
And that will slow me down because I don't really drink whiskey very fast. So I'll save money. I won't get all the calories. I won't get super drunk because I'll be sipping it and maybe I'll have one or two throughout the entire night that I'm at a bar.
Yeah.
And that worked for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got really good at drinking whiskey quicker. And then, I was like, I'll have one or two whiskeys instead of having 6 beers. And this will be better all around. And then I'd have 6 whiskeys.
I won't.
Yeah, and then a month later, it's like, I can drink 6 whiskeys in one night. This is great. And I get drunker and sloppier.
Now I can get even drunker faster.
Yeah, so I don't recommend switching to liquor if you want to get less drunk.
You know what, Tim? It sounds counterintuitive, but a lot of wisdom to those words.
Yeah.
I will say I've gotten shit in Ireland for drinking Jameson with ice on the rocks.
Yeah, and you know what? Who cares?
Yeah, I am very much of the opinion, however you want to drink something, that's fine.
However you want to do anything, that's fine. Oh, that's the same thing as ketchup on a hot dog? Shut up. Yeah. I like it. Guess what? I need to put ice in Jameson, otherwise it makes me want to puke.
I forget what it was an Irish bartender, obviously, because it was in Ireland, and he gave me shit about it, and I forget what it was they had on the menu, and I was like, you've got this on the menu, give me a break. This isn't like a high-end Scotch bar. It's Jameson. It's a mid-range whiskey. It's fine. I'm not cracking open a $10,000 bottle of something and pouring Coca-Cola in it And even if I wanted to, that's fine too.
Yeah, who cares? Everybody shut up. There's, these delicacies. You have to do these. Shut up. Tom, what's the fanciest bar you've ever been in, do you think?
I don't know. Probably like at like a high-end restaurant or something.
Yeah, I went to a magic show with my dad and my brother at one of those famous old New York hotels, which is awesome. It was a chamber magic show, Tom. It ruled.
Yeah,
then,
or I was going to say, or like a hotel bar. Like I've been to some very fancy hotel bars.
And we went down to the bar after the show because like it's not often that me, my dad, and my brother hang out. It was very nice. Right. And, like, I think I ordered a Jameson on the rocks that was $65 for one glass. It was like, this isn't even nice whiskey. It's just in a quote-unquote nice place. Yeah. Luckily, my father picked up the tab. Yeah. But we all felt uncomfortable there. We should have probably just gone to the bar in Penn Station.
Yeah, bar, what is that?
Trax.
Trax? Yeah.
I think Trax closed in 2003, but you know what I mean.
Trax was a bar in Penn Station that had, I don't know, maybe like a 4-foot-high roof. Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different place.
No, you're thinking of Trax.
Am I? All right. It was just very dark.
Catty-corner to McDonald's in that one corner. Yeah. I spent 9/11 in that Trax waiting for the Long Island Railroad to open up.
Let me talk about one final bar-related topic before we close. What is your feeling on home bars, basement bars, those types of things?
Tom? Mm-hmm. Imagine having one of those goddamn things right now.
I know. That's what I was hoping you would say, that's the ultimate dream. If any of us had a basement bar, I don't know. I feel like if any of us had a basement bar, we would be able to form a very like, okay, this is honestly going to be like, this is going to be a real bubble. Nobody can go anywhere else. Nobody can talk to anyone else, hang out with anybody else. But we can all go to this one person's basement bar whenever we want, whether they're asleep or not. There's a separate entrance.
Yeah, I'm for it. At some point in my life, I think I was probably like, oh, who would want a bar in their house? Just go out and do whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
no, it's a dream.
It's the dream. And we all live in the city. So like having an entire room devoted to a bar is probably not advisable.
Right.
Unless you're Paul McKenna in
who did have a bar in in 2 different apartments.
But if you are in the suburbs and you have a basement and you don't have a bar in that basement,
you're out of your mind.
Fuck you. Get out of town, man. Hit the bricks.
Any of these man caves that people, are so excited about that doesn't have a bar in it? What are you doing? That's not a man cave, or they have a term for, it's like a she shack or something if it's for women. But I don't know if you've just got
shack? I mean, I guess cave isn't great either.
Yeah. I think that for women, or at least the she shack is more of a like, oh, if you have like a shack, like a gardening shack that you instead turn into, a place to hang out. But yeah, when you see these, like, it is my man cave. Look, I got a leather chair and I got a TV. Fuck off. That's not a
TV. I don't even need a man cave. I don't even need to hide from my wife to watch TV, you creep.
Exactly. And the idea of like a man cave is so dumb when it's like, this is just like a poor shadow of what, like, at least I know, like, my grandparents had like a nice bar in their, in their basement, in their den. And it was like, this is, even as a kid, even when I didn't really know what that was or what it was emulating, it was still like, well, look at this. Hey, there's a place you can go behind.
My uncle had a bar in his basement, and he had like one of those beer signs that you could, I think it was like Miller Lite, and you could plug it in. And it was like kind of animated a little bit.
Oh,
it was
wow.
Cool. It, like a little thing like skipped over everything. And I was like, Having a bar in your basement is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and especially nowadays, Tim, you can buy like arcade machines pretty cheap. Get a couple of arcade machines down there. You get some pinball down there.
I've got a pool table in his.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been very fixated, I guess, because of everything going on with like, man, if I were rich and like living in a big house, I would go hog wild on building a like giant bar.
Yeah. Well, there's no reason not to.
No, and I would outfit it. I think there's a problem with some home bars where it's like they think too small. They're too reasonably. I would make a bar where it's like, no, this is a bar that's built to have 100 people in it. It will never have 100 people in it. I don't want 100 people over my house, but I want this to feel like a real bar that just happens to be empty and happens to be part of my home.
Yeah, then you can have parties.
Yeah, completely sound isolate it so that, you know, if you're upstairs in the house, you're not hearing anything.
That's weird. You can't have a completely sound isolated room in your home without raising certain
raising some
alarms.
eyebrows.
Yeah, exactly.
What if it was like...
What's Tom doing in that soundproof basement of his? Is he in a band?
Night.
No.
Why did he build that place so big if he's the only one in there? He doesn't let anyone else in. Yeah, I forget where I was gonna go with that, but I would like that. I would like just a real nice big bar to go hang out in.
Yeah, we all would. God, I can't wait to. This is broken me, Tom.
Yeah. Well, help's on the way. Tim, I've developed a vaccine that I'm going to be testing out on both of us.
All right, I'm at this point, I'm in.
Look, I've read a lot of the literature. I think I've been able to reverse engineer it. You just need to make some of the spiky proteins.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some spiky stuff in there, mixed up in there, some sand, some nails. I think it's going to work. And what's the worst that could happen?
Says the guy who doesn't want to inject salt water into your veins.
If you like the show, you can find more at tcgt.com. You can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. Hey, this week we're doing a very special TNT Q&A.
No, you came up with a better name. TNT AYQ.
Answer your questions.
Yeah.
Where we're answering Patreon. Hey, if maybe you've always had a question about us, maybe it's answered in that. I guess you'll have to give us money to find out. Patreon.com/complete guide.
We're also going to be recording it right after this so you can see how drunk we both are. We're going to be pretty candid in this thing.
Yeah, you won't want to miss it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Complete Guide. You can follow us on Instagram at TCGTE. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim. But also get off social media. This is all
or
poison.
Unfollow everybody but us.
Yeah, oh, that'll show them.
Yeah, that'll teach Mark Zuckerberg a lesson. And Jack Sparrow from Twitter?
Jack Sparrow, that scoundrel that runs Twitter. Scallywag.
Yeah, that's all the stuff to promote this week. Oh,
no.
Reddit.
There's
TCGT
Reddit.
on Reddit. Complete Guide on Discord.
Tom, the Discord is hopping.
Yeah.
Have you
I said it last week. I got to go on there. I know I'm going to get sucked in.
It's nice. There's constant conversation. Everybody in there is so very nice. It's a nice little community.
Is it a nice replica of a bar? Is it like a bar?
It kind of is. It's like Cheers, except there's no Carla there, like poisoning with her bad attitude. No, honestly, the Discord is so welcoming and great and supportive, and they're all so nice. It's pop in there, Tom. See, and I implore anybody. Unless you're a scoundrel that's gonna want to go and kick shit up in there, then stay out of there. We don't need you there.
Well, and before we set up the Discord, you said Discord was just for losers and freaks.
I didn't know what Discord was. You set things up. You set up the Discord, and 2 weeks later, I was like, Tom, can you please explain to me what Discord is? Also, I know I can't give an update at the beginning of every episode.
Uh-huh.
But Tom, the embrace of the Timbo, my namesake sandwich, has been overwhelming. Thank you so much. And also you're welcome for inspiring such a wonderful sandwich. And I hope everybody enjoys it. I think everybody that I've seen that's made it has done a wonderful job. And hey, feel free. Experiment with it. It's hey, rules are meant to be broken.
Yeah.
And if you do something interesting with it, let me know.
I'd be interested to see if anybody's ever had it more than once.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Or if people are
you
just...
made it like shit, so like I think you need to make it again, Tom.
I was going to make one tonight. I didn't have any bread.
Oh.
Because
That's
it
an
was
integral part.
Yeah. Tonight was one of those nights of like, shit.
I'll make you one.
Where are we going to eat? And then it's like, what do we got? What do we got around? And we had all the ingredients except bread.
I'll make you one. I'll wrap it in foil. Bring it over. Make you two. One for your girlfriend.
Y'all have to... We only eat prepackaged food, Tim.
Yeah, I'll wrap it in foil.
Well, that's
Packaged.
not... It needs to be packaged before it's cooked.
I'll smash up. I'll put pills in it also.
What? Well, Tim, I don't want to... Jesus, I don't want to eat if there's pills in it, especially if I don't know what those pills do.
They'll be you good
pitch
pills.
That, yeah, you pitch that like, I'll put some nice pills in it that you'll like.
Tom, you like some pills.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.